So yeah, surprise! It's been a long time coming, considering we did the original Spyro 1 Reignited about literally over a year ago.
Sorry.
And a lot of things came and went, like Crash 4 and CTR. We've been very busy between then and now, but thankfully, with Ikki's help, we're finally doing Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage.
Woo! Hi, I'm playing a game that doesn't involve balls this time. Oh wait, Ape Escape 2 also counts. Alright, well I'm doing another game that doesn't involve rolling things around.
You're gonna have to get ready for that new Dare monkey ball. For now,
oh goody!
Yeah, no, of course we did Reignited 1. We're gonna do the whole trilogy. We genuinely thought we were gonna get a Spyro 4 or something by now. Let's hope that they remember.
I'm sure they will.
They
like,
better.
I feel like, honestly, I'm kind of at the point where it's like, even though I'm of the camp that vastly prefers Crash over Spyro, even I have to agree that we're kind of overdue for a genuine new Spyro game.
Of course. Unfortunately, granted, I'm not going to talk about the current, gaming landscape right now, where that's going to be, that those plans are likely going to be halted, and instead focus on our new story, which takes us to a whole new world.
Oh, yeah.
With a fidgeting leopard. Or, excuse me, cheetah.
A cheetah.
So this time we find ourselves whisked away to the magical realms of Avalar.
Yep. We're going to, basically, I guess you could say Spyro 2 was, similar to how, the sequel always added, a bunch of, new things or, mixed things up a lot for the franchise. Spyro 2 brought a butt-ton more of, character interactions and, depth to your adventure besides just save, thank you for releasing me, over and over again.
Whoop.
And hey, we got another character for Tom Kenny to voice.
Which is actually funny considering that, as we may have mentioned in the past, Spyro 2 was technically the first time Tom Kenny voiced Spyro.
Yeah.
And the Professor.
And the Professor, yeah, which, thankfully, to Reignite's credit, they still let him play the Professor. I mean, that's just one of those roles you don't mess with. Speaking of roles you don't mess with...
Look who's back.
Aye.
Well, or should we say, look who's here for the very first time.
Well.
Well, I would say in terms of voice actors, look who's back on the scene.
That's also true.
Was it Greg Berger, or is it someone else?
Yeah, still
it's
Greg
Greg
Berger.
Berger.
Honestly, now that I think about it, out of all the times he appeared, I don't think anyone else has ever voiced him.
Really?
Not that I can remember, no.
Not even in, Wait, no, he wasn't in A Hero's Tale.
And as far
Ow!
And as far as I'm remembering, I think this is the most gruff I've ever heard his Ripto sound.
It's a little more seasoned, if nothing else.
Yeah, it kind of goes back and forth between sounding, smoother and then gruffer. It sounds smoother when he's, a little bit more calmer, but gruffer when he's more shouty.
Which
That's
makes
fair.
sense, and I mean, kind of better for it, if I can be perfectly honest, though, among other things. Ripto's design, holy shit. When that thing was first announced, it's one of those few, massive change-up in designs that not many people had a problem with. And neither did I, because I think it was much of a... It is a better design than the fucking, Muppet he had in the original game.
But then rubbery, stretching mouths, and yeah, regardless,
If I could...
Ikki...
So yeah, let's start the game. But before we do that, I have to make one crucial change in the game. Let's just pause right here.
Oh, that's right.
Or we'll first get our bearings.
We shouted, we pleaded, and we literally tried to pull at his nose hairs to stop him from doing it, but nothing we did could stop him.
Not even a single chance.
And that's when he said, "Joke's on you, I don't have a nose."
Yeah, if you want to know what we mean, just listen and appreciate this for as long as you get the chance to, because he just did it.
Yep. Nice editing.
I just had to quickly cut it out.
Much like how James Van switched the audio from the classic to the original, to the reignited versions for our look at Spyro 2 on the PS1, I have decided to go, screw that, I'm listening to the original music because it's better.
To be fair, you started it.
Potentially with Spyro. So yeah, effectively, and again, this is not at all dissing on either soundtrack. I think both are fun, and I think it is still fun that they got the original guy to come back.
But
and
the
look at
Spyro
his
2
old
soundtrack's much better than the reignited version.
Well, I guess that we should also say that as just a bit of a prerequisite. You kind of saw it a little bit when we did our look at the PS1 game, but Ikki makes it no secret that, what his nostalgic preferences are when it comes to the Spyro trilogy.
There was almost, we ended up, we had to talk him down one time, which was the fact that there is actually a mod, because we were doing this on the PC, on my PC version, my PC copy, we had to talk him down from. There was an actual mod that replaces all of the NPC dialogue with the original voice lines from the PlayStation 1. We were able to talk him down from it mainly because sound mixing would have been a nightmare because they did no normalization or balancing of that audio, so it was all kind of loud at times.
Yeah, not to mention it only affected like in-game NPCs. It didn't affect the actual cutscenes.
Right. Yeah. I mean, those are pre-rendered recordings and stuff.
And to be honest, that is one area that I'm willing to at least compromise for. I love the original version's audio to the beans in a sense.
Yeah.
But I honestly to God prefer the voice acting of the original over the Reignited, except in a few cases, like this guy right here.
Yes, the ever-lovable Moneybag.
Oh, that's right.
Not necessarily like my grandpa no more, but he does
still rather dapper.
Used to sound like your grandpa?
Yeah, I said in the original he sounded like my grandpa.
Yeah, that was the joke he said. Like, I remember he said that right after he hyperventilated a little.
Yeah, I was very excited to hear him speak. And yeah, reason why I was running against that ladder is because I was upset with Spyro 2 Reignited fixing the double jump glitch.
Yeah, you can't sequence break your way out of this one just yet. You have to
No!
You have to get good.
Which makes me very sad.
It's not like Crash, not like Crash and Say that remembered that some exploits were a thing and still kept them true, like the slide jump, the slide spin combo.
Yeah, the slide. Yeah, those were classics. Those were great. And I think didn't they have that even in Crash 4 and they actually required it?
It kind of did.
Oh, did they?
All right. Hey, Moneybags.
Hey,
JV Blanc. I mean, go ahead, sorry.
I will say he sells it. I already feel like punching him in the face already.
Yeah, seriously, it's like you couldn't have any. What I'm saying here is you couldn't have picked a better casting choice.
I think he did a really good job.
Yeah,
he is the stuffiest of the bears.
Yeah.
You know what makes his face especially punch?
I beg to differ.
I was about to say, you want to know what makes his voice especially punchable? If I'm not mistaken, he was also Ghadius in the remake of Klonoa.
Wait, what?
Really?
Wow, you're right. That
Are you
does
fucking
make
kidding
him
me?
More punchable.
I
No,
kid
it's
you
fine.
not.
I'm sorry, dude, you're fine. But okay, so
Once
I guess
Klonoa Reignited duology.
Another grand example of that game having a great cast with shitty direction.
It needed more to it, but yes. So I guess as far as explaining how this gameplay is going to work, since we are going to be tackling, of course, 100% completion. Thank you, Ikki.
You know what to.
Moneybags, again, for anyone who's never played or seen this game, Moneybags exists primarily as a paywall, usually for gems.
In today's lingo, it's called a microtransaction.
We call those surprise mechanics.
We call those pay to tolerate.
But
And just like that, we're already done.
yeah, otherwise, again, this game is just a whole new what's the word? A new game
Gameplay
cycle.
features.
Yes, typically, the minimum completion is not that hard. Just get from point A to point B. But Ikki, what can we do in these levels now?
Well, you can run, jump, swim, glide anywhere. Oh wait, that's Bubsy 3D. No,
is correct.
instead, unlike Bubsy 3D, you could run, you could charge, you could fly anywhere, and also you can, yeah. But new to Spyro 2 as opposed to 1 is the honest-to-God lifesaver that is the hover. At the end of well, actually, we'll get into that in a couple of minutes because we'll be showing that tutorial off relatively soon.
Okay, sorry. So I guess to quickly touch upon what I was going to hopefully lead you into this with is that as opposed to just being a straightforward collectathon, there is now the additional inclusion of side quests, like little challenges and things that you can talk to people for to get either more gems, unlock new abilities, and in particular you're wanting to try and get orbs. But
right.
Ikki's not going to do
Orbs
any of that
are
here.
essentially the power stars of this game.
Right, but Ikki's not going to do any
Because
of that
for
just
every
yet, 'cause
level
he's
that
have
you
to
complete,
backtrack.
you earn a talisman, which are, I guess you could call them like the main power stars.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's a
Well,
really
after a
shitty
while.
comparison, but okay, you know what? It's more like the crystals versus the gems in Crash.
Yeah, kind of.
Like, the talismans are crystals, while the orbs are more like the gems.
Yeah, or relics.
There's 64
or
in
whatever it is.
total, and getting all 64 of them earns you 100%.
Yep, and a permanent upgrade that we'll tackle later. For now, we meet potentially the trilogies, maybe. I don't know if they're ever going to confirm it or not. Love interest.
Possibly best glow-up in the game.
To be fair, Logan, I think they did confirm that they are, like, somewhat semi an item, because even back in the original, there was bits of it, like, at the end where she kisses him.
And in Spyro 3.
Yeah, that's true.
Spyro 3, you could argue she was damn thirsty for him.
But
No, not really.
hey, Hunter. And I will admit, it's kind of odd, but the one thing I don't like about Hunter is the weird hair thing he's got going on. I'm used to him
Oh, do you
being
mean the
bald.
tuft?
Yeah, I'm used to him being bald.
That's fine.
I think it's a decent enough touch.
That, and I appreciate the fact that he actually does look like a cheetah.
I miss his Muppet mouth.
Who is he and what's wrong with his mouth?
This is Hunter, and we don't know.
I have a disorder.
So, yeah.
And he said I bought like 5.
Though, that being said, for what it's worth, I honestly do think a good handful of the major characters in this game, you know, they got changed for the better. Like, Allura, Hunter, especially, and Ripto, like...
The majority of them.
What would you, like, honestly, let's just get into that right now, Ikki. Like, out of all the, like, major characters in this trilogy, who do you think got it the worst?
Ripto.
Really?
Really?
Yes.
I think Ripto got it damn good, all things considered.
I refuse.
Assuming we're able to count other games, I don't know if I needed Sheila to have like an entire new like persona and outfit. I kind of liked it just being like she's just a kangaroo.
I
To
don't
be
think it was
honest,
that entirely.
To be honest, Sheila's redesign, I didn't like at first, but it honest to God grew on me over a little bit. Because it took me a while to realize that Sheila in the original trilogy was literally just a blank kangaroo.
Yeah.
Really?
And, yeah, I never had a problem with the outfit at the very least.
Okay.
I'm not entirely sure about how to feel about Bentley, though.
Bentley, honestly, I think I like Bentley and Reignited far more than the original, even though I will still say, you know what, I'll save my thoughts on him for Spyro.
You can't get worse than Spyro 3 PAL Edition box art Bentley.
I'm gonna look that up,
that blank stare.
but we will save that for when we tackle that. So as far as Spyro 2, Ikki, okay, how about this? So, I mean, okay, we're also super early into the game, so I'm not gonna get super like in depth into stuff yet because there's still so much more to discover. But
Man.
okay, how about this? How does Spyro control, or like going off your nostalgia, Spyro 2, like on PlayStation 1? How do you feel about all the new controls and the stuff in the Reignited version?
Exactly the same. And I couldn't have it any other way.
That's good then. Alrighty. Do you usually use D-pad or analog?
Analog. I've only played Spyro with the analog stick. I've never had the chance to play it with the D-pad.
All things considered, Spyro came out right as the analog stick was starting to become a little more commonplace in the PlayStation
I
era.
gotcha.
So I think, yeah, if you're going to be playing Spyro, you've likely played it with the analog.
Which is funny, because I think it was only recently that I learned that Spyro 1 didn't have analog support. It just acted like a second D-pad.
Right.
So yeah.
Makes sense.
Okay.
But yeah, so welcome to Summer Forest.
Yep.
Our first hub world of the game.
And you may realize that is some clear-looking water as opposed to the first game. I wonder why. Maybe there's stuff inside it?
It's like they're inviting you to take a dip.
But you can't do that without hurting Sparks. Because he can't breathe underwater.
Right, we haven't paid for our swimming lessons. Also, as you also noticed just for a second right there, purple gems are no longer worth 10 in this era. They are now, or that one, it's like...
They were worth, like, what, 25?
Yes, this game...
In Spyro 1, it worked as red equaled 1 gem, green equaled 2 gems, blue
gems were 5.
equaled 5 gems, yellow equaled 10 gems, and purple gems were worth 25. They were the rarest gems to find.
Right there's one that was 25, but continue.
The only major difference between the currencies in Spyro 1 and Spyro 2 is that there's no longer blue gems, now there's just regular purple gems, which are 5, but there is still the elusive magenta-colored gems that give you the same 25 from before.
I just still call them purple gems. The
purple and purple.
the quote-unquote blurple gems in this game, I just call them violet. Semantics, I know.
Violet and magenta, let's go with that.
Yep. Also,
Why not?
here's that hover ability I was talking about. So remember in Spyro 1 where if you fail to stick if you fail to stick a landing after gliding a ways by just like a couple of inches below the ledge that you just fall? No more. You can now press the triangle button to get a little bit of a last second double jump of sorts.
It really does help for quickly correcting your position midair.
Yeah.
It's kind of similar to Klonoa's floating ability. It's there in case you need it to correct a jump.
It is a neat little safety net, and I mean, granted, Reignited already did a damn good job of making the overall, what's the word?
Streamlined?
Hit detection a little more manageable, because say you just barely miss the edge. Usually Spyro will just...
Was Spyro just walking in water?
It was shallow water.
Underwater?
And I know what you're talking about, James, where like it kind of almost had like a quick like little like not parkour system, but something where like it would like kind of give you a little assist of up you go like onto a ledge if you're so close.
It's the closest thing that Spyro has to a ledge grab.
Right. And but now with the hover, they're like, nope. Yeah, I believe they take away that assist and they expect you to do all that yourself. Like you should know how to hover onto ledges.
So yeah, the whole brunt of our trip through Avalar is that we're going to be solving all the kingdom's problems, and in exchange for a talisman.
Yep. Every single level has an intro cutscene explaining not explaining, but basically going over the gist of the main level's problem. And it's up to you to, solve said problem. To earn the people's trust.
Such as a hungry Yeti.
Oops.
Can I just say, I love the animations. Like in the intro and outro animations for every single level except for the first one. I am so disappointed that Spyro 3 didn't have them.
Yeah.
I'm
in fact, there are a lot of things that disappoint me about Spyro 3, but we'll get into that later.
I know Spyro 3 sort of made up for it by having a little more attention put to its story compared to here, where it's only like very small spurts. But to be fair, it's also because they put more of that focus on these level intros, which are great.
Yeah.
It's world building.
Yeah, and it gives them more character, and yes, I will admit, some of these are genuinely pretty funny.
I will definitely say, though, going back to Ripto, though, like way back when you think about it in the grand scheme of things, he's really not doing much of anything outside of just being an absolute nuisance in the hub worlds. When it comes to, like, the overall kingdoms of Avalar, he has absolutely no fucking presence.
Like, if you ever played Skull Monkeys, you know what kind of villain Ripto really is.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Like, he's an absolute pathetic little weakling that just so happens to have two gruffer-looking lizard thingies to back him up. And even then, it's only just to bully these three weirdos in the hub.
Right, Logan, that's the thing, like, he treats it like I'm taking...
He pisses on your lawnmower and declares it his property.
That's
pretty much.
That's an odd jump. But I'm just thinking, like, it feels so odd, because it's like, yeah, he basically showed up to Avalar and is trying to establish himself as a monarch when they're like, we never really had... Except now, okay, real quick, this brings up a question. It's like, Avalar never really had a ruler, but notice how it's always moneybags getting kicked out of these palaces.
Well, it's because he's he's more of like a broker, I guess. An honest John kind of broker. Where he just so happens to have all these great things. Just have to pay him to get back. Also, I have never gotten hit by that yak before until camera controls screwed me over.
Like I said, the grand scheme of things, like, all these kingdoms of Avalar have their own problems, completely unrelated to Ripto, and that's kind of the reason why it's, like, we're going to such lengths just to even get their little thingamahoogers just to even reach them in the first place.
Yeah.
It's more about earning the people of Avalar's trust so that we can collect 14 talismans and then get to Ripto.
Pretty much.
Which I guess the talismans help open doors or okay, so I guess the other implication they didn't quite that we may have glossed over a bit is apparently it's all because our guidebook, like this book, we're trying to increase its strength through talismans and stuff.
Which, looking back, I kind of don't understand all that well. Like, is the guidebook just some sort of omnipotent artifact of Avalar? Or is it just a literal guidebook? Like a tourist guide?
You know what? That is something I'm generally going to look up because I'm actually curious. While I do that, hi, what are your thoughts? I know you mentioned earlier that you weren't really much of a Spyro guy, but of anything that you saw during any streams or you yourself may have tried, since I believe you own the Reignited on Switch thing, what are your thoughts so far on just as a whole about Spyro 2.
First off, yes, I am indeed alive.
Hi!
I'm here for you. Continue.
Thank you. Anyway, even though I do prefer Crash by a lot, like, and I feel like I touched upon this in the Spyro 2 look at as well. It's like, even though I do prefer Crash, I still appreciate a lot of what Spyro does with its gameplay and whatnot. And I do have, out of the trilogy, I feel like I do have more experience with 2, mainly just because I did play the demo of it that came in these, excuse me, I think it was with CTR, yeah, because that was back when the Crash and Spyro still had, like, demos for each other and whatnot, so I remember playing the demo of Spyro 2 from CTR. Oddly enough, it was with this level in particular that we're going through.
That's right.
And I remember liking it quite a bit, like, I do have a fondness of, like, these kind of, like, open, take your time and explore type of platformers. Like, I do appreciate them, and I think they have their place. It's like I mentioned before, the only reason why I genuinely prefer Crash at the end of the day is that, not for nothing, I just find Crash and his gaggle of friends and foes more entertaining.
Torch him, Ikki.
Thank you, Logan. I was just about to say.
Wow.
Yeah, that is one reason why I wanted to replace the voice acting with the original, because he says kill as opposed to torch.
I think you should kill that Yeti.
And then they officially retranslate it into torch.
Yeah.
And again, I still look back on that freaking edit. I hated that look at it. How beautiful it was.
Yeah.
Kill that Yeti.
But yeah.
Seamless.
But yeah, and I mean, again, that's fine. I will once again still stand by the fact that I humbly, not humbly, jeez, that sounds so freaking pretentious.
Graciously.
Not anxiously, because that makes it seem like
I said gracious, not anxious.
Oh,
Just say you're gonna do it.
I'm eagerly awaiting a potential Spyro 4 because though I do like Crash and I like me some action platforming, something about the simplistic, nice, satisfaction of good old collectathon and is really nice to me.
It just makes me wonder what they would do for Spyro 4.
I feel like one thing that they would probably do is that I feel like, I don't know how uncommon an opinion this is, but I feel like because of all the glow-ups the Reignited Trilogy did to the games, a lot of people have been finding a newfound appreciation for Spyro 1, so I would not be surprised if a potential 4th game does take a lot more cues from 1 than it does 2 or 3.
I would not mind that.
I mean, I'd be down with that. By the way, let us engage in the peaceful sport of hockey.
Ooh.
Such a pacifist sport in the realm of Avalar.
Also, I'm just gonna throw this out there. This is not in any way, shape, or form a
sponsored by the NFL.
This is not in any way. It's not even that.
I mean, the NHL.
There you go. I was like, wait a minute, not that wrong thing.
Let's say football.
This is not at all an indicator of Ikki's skill, but I'm gonna do him a favor and say, yeah, you got the gist. Now imagine us doing that 4 more times.
Yeah.
Here it comes.
It's pretty simple.
It's easing you into all these little. There will be, trust me, there will actually be some very tricky mini games that Ikki will have to face with the brunt of his force.
I'm not going to enjoy them that much.
To be fair, though, whatever hell Ikki went through, at a certain extent I did with Spyro 1, that won't even compare to some of the crap Logan will have to go through with Spyro 3.
Although I'll just quickly throw this out there right now, especially because I recorded the game by now. I think they made the dragons a little easier. But anyway, that is incredibly an illegal move.
It's a pacifist sport.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like Spyro has a bit of an advantage with that flame breath. Has a
He's just
range
toasting his
and
buns
intensity.
in the winter climate.
Continue with the how to play fair thing, James.
Again, a peaceful sport.
Pacifism.
Oh, Ikki, did you hear about the new Goofy shorts we may be getting?
Gorsh?
Oh, right.
Yeah, they're kind of in the same like vein as the old how-to sports are going to be. Thank you. Oh, I'll take that. This guy, I forgot what other works he's done, but he
how to turn on the oven.
Kind of, actually. It's going to be like it's going to be Goofy staying at home and like working from home or something.
I mean,
like
it's like the
All
Discord
random
image tells me everything I need to know.
Yes,
Yeah, and basically...
Hey, you did.
Hey, what's that down there?
Oh, again, skill points came back. That means Ikki did it without losing a single point. Continue.
Technically speaking...
Yeah, Spyro 2 was the game that introduced the idea of skill points. It even
That's right.
It even went far beyond the realms of Spyro and even found its way into the Ratchet series.
And then into the PS3 itself. And it wasn't fun anymore.
It's unfortunately not, and I can say right now, it's unfortunately not in Ratchet Rift Apart for some reason. I think it's
They didn't bring back the skill bonus for that?
No, or so I haven't come across any. I think it's literally because like, I think it's because literally to them, like because again, the whole purpose of skill points was just to be a start to
and goodbye.
Oh, hi, there's the balloonist in the background in that picture right there. You can see him.
Former prodigal in a realm he has never been a part of.
Yep, so how'd they get his picture?
Honestly, maybe that's
Is
the
it his
implication
cousin
that
Ned over there?
I was saying maybe that's the implication that under that scarf and helmet, this is what he's always looked like. Oh.
I mean, not only that, I do recall.
Yeah.
Let's you burn off some of that hatred and bring back that golden piece.
The piece of hockey.
Remember, this is a pacifism sport.
Exactly. But what was it
just like that yak.
I mean, we bring up the whole thing about that painting of the balloonist being in Avalar. I know sometimes you'll also come across the that picture of the artist from Artisan, the painter.
Yeah.
You'll still find his portrait every once in a while in Avalar.
I guess it's just a common asset between all three games.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. And still gonna say, it still pisses me off that Spyro 1 got that snazzy, credit sequence, but they didn't update it for any of the others.
But yeah, just going back, we were talking about like, oh, these are peaceful people. That just makes me think too, like, oh no, the peace and love monks are down the street. We're the law and order monks.
What was that from again?
It's from Jet Fusion.
Yeah.
How did I miss the screen gen? By the way?
Yeah, from freaking yeah. So while we're tackling this, we were talking about something crap. It was. The skill points. Yeah, apparently, literally, they because skill points were just supposed to be what achievements and trophies ended up being, and so Insomniac literally released a statement saying, "Hey, they're the same thing." So Rift Apart has trophies.
At least in Ratchet and Clank, you'd actually get extra little goodies for how many skill points you collect.
Now you get those for doing gold bolts. When you find gold bolts, you get new cheats and new art and stuff.
But the gold bolts were supposed to be for other stuff too.
Well, they changed it, Ikki. I'm sorry, I'm not.
Well, I don't like change.
Ikki, there comes a point where you have to ask yourself: do you really want the skill points that badly to give you new stuff, or would you rather go dimensional hopping at a second's notice?
Can I do both?
Oh, that's right. Yes, I'm sure there's somebody.
Do you think we have that kind of money?
Yes.
I am. But that being said, I can outright say that yes, if somebody is, and apparently I can also really quick say that as I've heard, I think PS5s are going to start becoming more available again. Yay! I definitely still think Rift Apart is an excellent showcase of what the console's powerful of. I would love a Spyro game. Honestly, I think you guys were bringing it up. I would love an open world like Spyro Collectathon game, almost like in a similar tone or structure as Bowser's Fury.
I'd be down with that.
Is Rift Apart supposed to be open world?
Well, Hero's Tale kind of made it open world.
No, Rift Apart. Is that supposed to be like an open world game?
No, I mean, it's still level structures, like planets and stuff, like the old Ratchet games. I was talking about like a new Spyro game. Oh, hang on. Let's see how the new monks are doing with their training.
Just fucking around with their pacifist powers.
I do appreciate as much as I do appreciate them actually, doing their own shit as opposed to using stock clips. Will forever miss the
like me. You got it. Why?
Oh!
Did I do good?
Me too. Too good.
Exactly. Too good.
We should run. So, anyway, apologies for that long part, just because, I wanted to try and get as much of that world as I could. My goal is that I'm never going to have a video end until Ikki has completed a world, but don't go away, because, next part's gonna come, and oh boy, just like with Spyro 1, we got plenty of levels and worlds to visit.
And how?
And for those that have never played Spyro 2 up to this point, everything's all according to plan.
Keikagudori.